Oh, that's great, huh? For 1 hour. No, yes, I would like to say also that this session is being recorded. So if well, anyone will be joining later, he then will have the chance to review also what was there. I would say that yes, we wanted to start this kind of series, and with Airtight Networks is now the first webinar that we want to present our vendors. We want just to show, because we are convinced that this is really from the technological viewpoint the future. And in this sense, Tom Haag, welcome, and Leo Ster from Airtight Networks. Thank you very much that you are available here for this presentation. And we are looking forward to find out the latest news about Airtight and why for resellers this is a very exciting opportunity to work together with you. So
Marcus, thank you very much for your introduction, and first of all also for the invitation. I want to say hello and welcome to everybody in Eastern Europe. I think we have Ukraine. We have which countries do we have actually connected?
Bulgaria. And planned was still from Poland, maybe with a little bit delay, and Latvia as well.
Okay, so thank you very much all of that you participated. I have a presentation of, as Marcus mentioned, 59 slides. Don't be afraid, so I'm not using all the slides. First of all, I thought, okay, for 1 hour, 59 slides is enough. But then you should better look to a video than to my presentation. I hope that everybody can hear me clearly. Let me give you an estimation what we want to talk about. First of all, I want to give you a brief overview of Airtight and the history. Then I want to give you an overview of potential threats in the wireless scenario or the wireless infrastructure, and I want to give you a better overview of how we are dealing with such threats and how we are supporting your clients for bring your own device and for a so-called network access control through the air. So first of all, Airtight is since 2004 on the market. So we are, let's say, a 10-year-old company, and we started our product development because the air or the security in the air was not really existing. So everybody, and I'm including all of us, used Wi-Fi or VLAN at home or in the office with an access point. So let's say a low-cost access point or access point which is deployed by the service provider. We started entering SSIDs and web security or WPA and so on and so forth. But there is more than just this rudimentary security. We achieved over the first years a big recognition by Gartner because we are, and this is beside all the other vendors, this is we are the only company who is rated strong positive by Gartner on our wireless intrusion prevention system. Let me start defining what is wireless intrusion prevention and what is wireless intrusion detection. I think you know from the LAN side intrusion detection and so IDS and IPS systems. If any of you worked with such systems, you can remember that it's a nightmare setting up all these rules and all these possible threats you want to remember when the threats are coming into your local area network. This is a very high load and a very complicated scenario. Our competitors or the other vendors in the LAN and WAN market, VLAN market, they are offering a wireless intrusion prevention system based on this LAN technology, which is a MAC address or MAC correlation. And this is a big difference. And I'm coming later to this point and describing how we are dealing with that. We have, and you see this slide from every customer, every company. So we have, of course, customers in the different scenarios. Markus mentioned at the beginning that why is it interesting to sell airtight? I think the main interesting point is that we are not focusing on, let's say, one market segment or vertical markets. We are existing in all markets. Why? Because Wi-Fi and VLAN is gaining, and the companies are changing from, let's say, local area networks or cabling to a no cabling infrastructure to a Wi-Fi infrastructure. Even on the floor or in the buildings, they are changing to a different technology. And as you all know, you can't see the air. And this is one of the biggest issues, that you can't see and control the air if you have no tool which is showing you or giving you the ability to control it. So let me explain the wireless security and where we come from. What does not work? A no Wi-Fi policy without enforcement. Just an example, because you will see in this presentation some birds and also some other animals. First of all, a no Wi-Fi policy without enforcement doesn't work. So it means it's not good that you disallow a bird sitting on in this place, and the bird is sitting on top of this sign. The next thing is, and when I'm talking to my clients or my customers, we always have, let's say 80%. They're telling me we don't have that problem of wireless security. So what is the problem? I give you one example. I was entering a German bank in Frankfurt. And I was asking, give me 15% of your 15 minutes of your time, and I'm explaining what we are doing. And the CIO and the CSO was sitting next to me, and they are telling me, hey, we have the best Wi-Fi vendor in the market, and we are working since years with this company, and we have no wireless security issues. There are no problems because we have the best product at all. Then I said, okay, I'm explaining you what we are doing. So we are controlling the air. We are looking into the air. We are finding rocks or access points. We are classifying clients and access points in the LAN and in the VLAN. Then they say, no, we don't have any rocks. We don't have any access points who aren't part of our network. And I'm explaining, okay, when you are so convinced that you don't have any, let's say, rocks or access points who shouldn't be there, then I can start plugging in my sensor or access point just 2 minutes into your network. After 10 minutes discussion, they allowed me to do that. So I plugged in the access point in the network, and our access point starts, or the sensor starts gaining all the information. And after 2 minutes, and this is a true story, I showed them 14 access points which aren't part of their network, which means people who are using an iPhone can set up a personal hotspot easily. People who are in the corner of a building who have, let's say, a physical problem, that the access point is or the access is not really stable and good. They are taking their home access point with them, plugging into the network, and then just opening up an access point where they can connect to the network, and easily with much more connection speed and power. So these guys were stunned. So they were just saying, this is impossible. It doesn't work. And I told them, okay, I can even tell you exactly where the access point pops up, where it is in your building. I can show you exactly what is going on in your air. And they were overwhelmed about our products, and they said, okay, we just want to have as an overlay your sensors into my network, and having a central management who's just gaining all this information. And this was the start of or let's say an easy start of a bigger project. So this is the two pictures you see here. This is what you will have, and also what issues you will have when you're presenting our products. When you are able to show them, when you convince them to put the access point into their network, so I would say 80% of the time you win. This is just it's not a tip of the iceberg, it's the top of the iceberg. So it's a typo. But anyway, so the top of the iceberg, you followed over the past months several threat levels of threats to companies. Most of the companies were in the US, but also in Europe, where people are connecting. Let's say not people, but thieves were connecting, or hackers were connecting to the network and collecting the credit card data and credit card numbers from the clients. And this is a nightmare for each company. I think the latest news was Tesco. Where it's the problem wasn't the local area network, or the problem wasn't the security. The problem was the so-called Internet of Things. And probably you heard of this new terminology, the IoT, or Internet of Things. And this means it's not dependent on the device. It's just a part of the internet. What happens to this? Supermarket stores. They have a production network, and they have a guest network. And in the guest network and the production network, they have also their third-party vendors integrated. And the third-party vendor could be the vendor of the refrigerators. And in this case, this fridge has a Wi-Fi client, and this fridge was connected to their production network. And this fridge was connected because the third-party company wanted to control the condition of this fridge. If it's cold, if it's warm, if the products are still in there, and so on and so forth. So all these informations were sent through a Wi-Fi client in the supermarket, through the supermarket networks. The hacker just used this Wi-Fi client to get as a fridge into the network, and was connecting to the databases and just collecting all this data. So this is one example of what's going on in let's say retail or supermarket chains. They want to control. They want to get everything on in their infrastructure, but they are not able to provide a security. Just a question from my side: is anybody able to ask questions during my presentation? Okay, nobody's answering. So
in the lower left corner of your screen, you see a little button cold messages. You could put in questions, or also via phone or voice, of course.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So if you have questions or if you want to interrupt, as Leo mentioned, just use this tool to do so. So anyway, coming back to this wireless threads, we are just collecting 10 of the potential wireless threads on this slide, and I just want to use one as an example. Does anybody of you heard of pineapple access points? If you want to do a Google search and just search for pineapple and access points, you will find a small black access point with a yellow-colored pineapple on top of the box. This access point is a very nice tool if you want to cheat around and if you want to see what's going on and if you want to connect to, let's say, clients easily. I'm explaining you how this thing works. First of all, it's very cheap. It costs about 75 euros, or it's about $99. It depends on the market. But you can use this pineapple access point as a so-called honeypot AP or evil twin. What does this guy do? All of us, we have on our smartphones or on our PCs or laptops, we have our SSIDs stored, and the smartphone is sending out beacons with requests to this SSID. For instance, my home SSID is Tom at home, and my smartphone, and this is independent where I am, is sending out beacons to, hey, where is Tom at home? I want to connect to Tom. And this honeypot access point, or this pineapple, he is offering me Tom at home. And my smartphone is really happy and says, hey, great, I am back at home. Let me connect to my home network. And my smartphone connects to this Tom at home SSID, and the other guy on the other side can get access easily to my smartphone and control everything in this smartphone, because he's a trusted SSID with all information, with security, with everything. This is a very funny tool you can use either in the plane or wherever you want to go. And this happened. We had an event last week, and on this event, we found 3 honeypot APs who are just doing exactly that, what I said. That's one of the threads, one of 10 threads. Another thread is even an easy one, because if I'm an employee of a bank and I have strict policies. So one policy is, for instance, that I cannot connect from my internal network to Dropbox, or I cannot connect to Google Share, or I cannot connect to Facebook, or any other media or any other portals. So because the company want to secure their network, this means I'm not able to send my business presentation to my Dropbox folder just to work or continue my work at home over the weekend. This doesn't work, and this shouldn't work. I'm a very clever guy. I'm sitting in my office, and I got these policies, and I'm a bit upset because I just wanted to upload this PowerPoint presentation, and I know that we have a cafeteria. And in this cafeteria, there is a SSID, a free Wi-Fi SSID. So I'm sitting at my desk, and this SSID from the cafeteria is sending into my office the SSID. So I'm very easily, I'm very smart, and I'm just said, okay, let me connect to this cafeteria and use this transport to Dropbox. So I'm getting the connection to the cafeteria because I'm a good guy, and I'm just connecting to Dropbox, and I'm uploading my PowerPoint presentation from my desk with the policy in my mind that I'm not allowed to use Dropbox, but with the nice guys from this cafeteria opening up the network and the internet, and I'm uploading my file to Dropbox. So my question is, what is wrong? And exactly that, a no Wi-Fi policy without enforcement, or policies at all without enforcement, doesn't work. So this means I'm connecting with my device to an external SSID. And you cannot control and see the air. I'm repeating this sentence, and probably you know it as well. There are several other issues. One issue could be a misconfigured AP, because I have hundreds of access points in my network, and I'm trying to connect that, and we have some rules, a rule set, and new access points are just drilled to the wall and opening up and sending out the SSIDs, but they are not configured correctly. That could be a threat as well, or MAC spoofing. So that's you are connecting to an access point, and I put an access point beside that and just spoof the MAC address and get into this connection like a man in the middle. Or the bridging client. Look to your Windows PC if ICS bridging is open up or is it closed. Most of the Windows PCs have ICS bridging up running. I can use this to get into the Wi-Fi or VLAN network, and so on and so forth. And the first example I gave you was this ROC AP, that I'm taking my smartphone and opening up a personal hotspot in my business network or business infrastructure. So just to make a short summary, we have a lot of threats. What we actually see in the networks who are not seen by our competitors, who are not seeing with other vendors. Why is it like this? It's because of our technology. I'm coming back to my original part where I say, okay, we are since 2004 on the market. Between 2004 and 2011, we had a lot of so-called OEM partners, and the OEM partners. They were like companies like Meru, Cisco, Aerohive, you name it. So all of the Wi-Fi and VLAN markets, vendors and market leaders were using our technology to defend or to see what's going on in the air. Why was this changed in 2011? I give you a short example of a client of us. We have one of our clients is one of the largest retail chain or hospitality chain in the US. It's called Yums, and one of these clients were Burger King, also in Yums with Burger King and Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they wanted to offer free Wi-Fi to their clients. And they also want to use Wi-Fi as their production network. Production network in a restaurant means that the cashier system, the barcode reader, everything is connected through Wi-Fi and connected from this remote point to a central point to collect all these data. So they decided for a company who's called Cisco to give them the access points. And they took the access points of Cisco and started the rollout for 5,000 restaurants in North America. And then they said, okay, we want to give free Wi-Fi, but we also want to have a very secure production network. And they did a POC with our technology, and they loved our technology and said, okay, this is exactly what we need. And they started the rollout with with the airtight. And what they did is they just plugged in or drilled to the floor, not to the floor, to the wall, 2 access points, or 1 access point and 1 sensor, and they are managing 2 networks. After the 5,000th store, they asked us in 2011, why aren't you able to deliver an access point beside your sensor? Or more better would be a sensor and an access point in one box. And we did an investigation, and our R&D team started to develop a so-called access point sensor to offer access and to have our good or excellent wireless intrusion prevention system on top of in one box. This means we have an access point generated or developed who can do 24/7 controlling the air and securing the air, and doing 24/7 delivering access through 3 different radios. So this means it's a 24/7 access and 24/7 security, full security. We also have access points like our competitors who are doing background scanning. So delivering access and doing background scanning when there's no traffic in the air. So then we start scanning the air or the areas. So anyway, so 2011 we offered a so-called access point sensor, and our OEM partners were a bit upset that we are actually going into their markets with our access points. So this was 2011, and we started 2011 and 2012 to sell our access points. So this was just a short story. The client America is actually still in the rollout phase, and they are actually at 11,500 access points or shops, and they sent back 5,000 Cisco access points, by the way, and they are just using our access point sensor in one box. So is your network security at risk? A risk from bring your own device? I think bring your own device is much more than just a marketing phrase. It's that's exactly what's happening, and we have a clear statement on that. It's tough to manage the unmanaged. The volume of devices which you get from your employees, or which your employees get into the company, is a nightmare for each CIO, for each IT manager. It's really tough to manage this amount. I can give you one example of a holiday or Christmas gift. Our chancellor in Germany, Angela Merkel, she got an iPad from her husband 2 years ago, and she was entering with her new iPad the EU Parliament in Brussels, and they have a no Wi-Fi policy, or they had a no Wi-Fi policy at this time. And Mrs. Merkel asked the IT to get a Wi-Fi connection so that she can use the iPad from her husband in the Parliament. So the EU Parliament discussed that, and from security point of view, it's they disallowed that. Mrs. Merkel was very, let's say, picky and asked again and again and again. So keep the story short. The EU Parliament in Brussels is actually using a very secure access point network at the moment for our Chancellor Angela Merkel, and this is an airtight access point and sensor network. So now everybody can get into the network with their unmanaged devices. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a very secure network, and only the allowed devices can be accessing. So BPA2 or 802.1x cannot prevent unauthorized devices from accessing the enterprise network. They cannot prevent it. There are tools, even if I want to go into, or want to get into the security of the WPA2 or 802.1x, it's easy to get into that. And even if I know these keys, it's much easier because when I know these keys, I can enter in each device I have in my pocket. So managing the unmanaged. So first of all, the bring your own device is a potential intrusion threat. So you have unauthorized access, you have data leakage, and you have malware getting into your network from your devices, from your employees. They even could get into a green access point, which means he's part of the network, he's in the policy and everything. You can easily get into a ROG AP, which is an access point which is not in the policy, shouldn't be in my network. Or we can easily get into a soft ROG AP, like with the ICS bridge or any other techniques into my network. An extrusion threat, I mentioned that, is going from your corporate network or corporate device through a 3G, 4G network or a Wi-Fi, external Wi-Fi SSID, and just doing banned content, data leakage, peer-to-peer or malware. This is also not very elegant. Why airtight WIPS? So you see 6 pieces who are, let's say, the key for our wireless intrusion prevention. First of all, it's an automatic device classification. What does this mean? You see this magical cube, and this has 3 colors. First is authorized, second is blue external, and third is red ROG. So we are classifying each device in the air exactly like this, with just 3 different colors. We think, and we are convinced, that you can only control what you see. And that's how we do things and let them be seeable in the network. We have a comprehensive threat coverage, which means we can get any threats, or we can prevent any threats who are actually available in the Wi-Fi scenario. We have a reliable threat prevention, so we can prevent people doing that. You will ask yourself, okay, how is Airtight doing that? That he's preventing Tom sitting in his bank, connecting from his smartphone to this cafeteria, or from his PC to this cafeteria and sending the PowerPoint file to Dropbox. How are we doing that? It's a clear policy which we can set up in our central management server, who's just saying Tom is only able to connect to a trusted SSID. And the cafeteria is a non-trusted SSID. An access point who is a ROG, is defined as a ROG. So what we do is, when I'm just trying to connect to the SSID cafeteria, our sensors or access points who are more closer to this client than the access point in the cafeteria is answering my requests with rejected. So my device is trying to get a connection and says, okay, let me connect to cafeteria. And now our sensor and access point is answering as in the name of the cafeteria SSID rejected. And this happens all the time. So I'm clearly unable to connect to this external SSID with this patented technology. We are not sending or we are not erasing or deleting or touching any networks. We are just working as a man in the middle, just in this case, preventing me connecting to this cafeteria. As I mentioned before, accurate location tracking, this is mandatory. So if you have, let's say, this example with this bank, and somebody is taking his access point from home and is opening up it in the bank. It's nice to know that there's an access point, but start seeking or looking for it in the organization. It's pretty tough. What we can do is we can locate in a very accurate way up to below 1 meter. And tell, okay, this rogue access point is located in floor 3 on level so-and-so in this and this cube. So this is a very, very, very good tool. Then we have a bring your own device policy enforcement. So we are able to, let's say, set these policies, and we are controlling that nobody, no client is trespassing these policies. For instance, this example with the fridge. So the fridge, first of all, would be recognized as the fridge, and if somebody else is trying to get into that, and with this client, we would enforce them that he's not allowed to do so. At last but not least, and this is one of the most powerful tool in the market, is our automated compliance reporting. So if you even have had the chance to work with our system, and I'm showing or I'm giving you the ability to connect to our portal, to our cloud management later on, if you like. Then you see below the management point reporting more than 1,000 predefined reports where you can easily get per one click out of our system. Let me give you an example. PCI DSS reporting. This means I have to deliver to auditors from my credit card company, deliver or show them that everything is 100% secure, and Wi-Fi is one piece of the PCI DSS 2 or 3 reports I have to send to the credit card company to keep my license using credit card payment. We can do that with just one mouse click and just get let's say 27, 30 or more pages report, which you can directly send out of the system every Friday or every Sunday to your auditor, or every month or every quarter, or to your management. So it's a very powerful tool to get more knowledge in the air, because there you can get reports and see exactly what's going on and what happened over the past days, weeks, months. So Airtight's accurate automatic device classification is, as I said, one of the keys, because we can define and see, first of all access points who are visible in the air and defined as authorized AP, external AP, or ROC AP. So the biggest challenge in implementing such a clean workflow is robust on-wire, off-wire detection. What does this mean? First of all, we have a technology, it's called marker packets. And the marker packets, it's a very, very easy technology. You can I think everybody knows what broadcasts mean, what ARP means. So we are using this, let's say, standard networking technology or IP technology, like ARP, to send broadcasts on wire and off wire, which means in the air. And everybody who's answering us in the wire and off the wire is definitely, let's say, an access point who's connected to your LAN and who's answering on both sides. An access point or a device who's just answering through the air but not through the LAN is definitely an access point, or can only be an access point who's out of your network, and that's or a client, and that's how we define the external APs. We get from each client, if it's let's say an iPhone or a BlackBerry, we get all the information available from the device. So the device is sending out informations, and we are getting collecting these data, and then we can classify if the access point or this external client or access point is a client or is an access point. So this is a very easy, tricky thing. So we are using market packets like ARP broadcasts to collect all these data. So this is the technology. So the request market packets or UDP reverse market packets were sent out from our sensors constantly over in a background mode. So if there's nobody sending, or when the 24/7 sensor mode is selected all the time. So we can define, we can collect, and we can classify up to more than 500 clients within 2 minutes. So give us 2 or 5 minutes of the time of your network, and we can really define what's going on in your network. How many access points you have, how many clients, if you have 20 iPhones, 50 Blackberries, some Androids, and so on and so forth. So we can really collect that. So I mentioned our legacy LAN, IPS, and IDS. So this is a chart of head-to-head comparison between ROC APs detection, and you see the market packets, which is our technology, against the legacy markets MAC correlation technology, where we are with these criteria. So I'm not going into every page, but it's a very interesting thing. So just for latency of detections, it's just a few minutes. And with MAC correlations, it takes up to hours. It depends on the size of the network. The classification and the automatic device classification, you see on the left side our technology, our wireless intrusion prevention, and other wireless detection systems, solutions. It's there, but it's very tricky and very extensive to get known what's going on in the network. And the other good thing is our solution works out of the box. So plugging in and the sensor starts working. It's rooted in active on-wire and off-wire detection. The WIPS solutions from all other vendors requires users to configure complex rules and merit with false alarms. And this is a nightmare if you have a lot of false positives. It could be a problem if, let's say, the board member wants to connect to his Wi-Fi and he's prevented because he's just part of one of the false alarms. That's a very nice situation to explain why he's not able. So we have 99.99% no false positives. So the WIPS protection, and I'm not getting into this chart that deep, but the point is we want to let in policy conformed access points and clients, and we want to stop all rogues or external clients who are not allowed to access my network. I give you another example for a no Wi-Fi policy. We have banks or other vendors who have a no Wi-Fi policy. So this means they don't want Wi-Fi at all. So we can be part of their network with our sensors, and we can guarantee that there's no Wi-Fi communication in the air, because what we can do is we can classify all the devices, even if it's access points or clients, and we can prevent them in the communication. So we can really set up no Wi-Fi scenarios. And the third possibility, or the second possibility with this no Wi-Fi, is no communication at all, because we have customers who have meeting rooms where all members have to hand off their smartphones. So there's no 3G, 4G, or GSM communication at all allowed, or device allowed in this room. Another client could be a jail, because they don't want to have their members in the jail using a GSM or a 3G smartphone. So they want to see if there are smartphones in the cells or in the jail. So what we are doing is, first of all, controlling the air, classifying the clients, classifying the ROGs or the APs, plus we can do with the plugin a so-called CD100 USB stick. We can really classify and see in the air if there is a 3G, GSM, or LTE communication going on at the moment. We cannot prevent the communication, but we can detect it. And this is a very, very nice tool beside of this legacy Wi-Fi classification and protection. So another nice thing beside that is my policy in my company is I don't want iPhones. So my users are not allowed to use an iPhone. My company policy, or my let's say standard product, is a BlackBerry. What I want to do is, okay, I'm sending out a paper and telling everybody that they are not allowed to use their iPhone in the business network or in the company's network. That's what normally the people does, or sending out an email or a note. But nobody is really controlling that, because the iPhones are hip, they are nice, they are sexy, and they want to use their beloved iPhone also in the network. What we can do is, because we can easily detect if it's an iPhone or it's a BlackBerry or an Android or an iPad, we can stop unapproved devices immediately, even if the user is authorized. So even if the user is an employee, has an LDAP, has an 802.1x authentication, and everything, he had get all the keys, blah, 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 but he's not allowed with his user credentials to use an iPhone. And we are preventing that easily. So we also stop external APs, as I mentioned, or mobile hotspots. So this is a real bring your own device policy enforcement with our wireless intrusion prevention system. I see you all saying yes at the moment. We have an automatic device fingerprinting and classification, as I said. Normal MDM and NACs are unable to provide the first line of defense. This means wireless intrusion prevention systems complements these solutions to fully automatic, secure bring your own device. You'll see on the right just a short section of our management system. So we are showing each device pre-classified with colors, and you can easily look into that and work on top of this management system. So I spoke, I told you most of the problems or issues within bring your own device and wireless intrusion preventions. So there are limitations, and we have, of course, strengths. One of the strengths, I repeat, is automatic, accurate device classification. You see what is going on in your network. Second, automatic, reliable prevention. So you want to prevent that what you want to prevent. So no zero false positives, zero false alarms, and last but not least, ease of use. You don't want to spend hours, days, months, and years to set up an automatic wireless intrusion prevention system. And our vendors or ask the other vendors who were OEMing our technology why they did that, and it's exactly that is the answer. So MDM is not a network security. That's definitely for sure. NEC is not a wireless security. That's also for sure. And you can prove that. Comprehensive protection with airtight WIPS. You remember these 10 threads in the Wi-Fi. We are preventing all of them. We have more than 30 patents to do so. We can give you information on how we are doing that. But most of the techniques we're using are techniques who are on the market. We are just doing that with interfering the communication.
Hello, Tom. Marcus here. I don't know at which point you currently are, what you still would like to tell, but looking at the time, I think it would still also be interesting to say a little bit about the type of partnership program from Airtight, what the possibilities are there. Also, for example, how would the POC work with Airtight? So don't want to interrupt you here, just so that you would find also some time for these topics. Thank you.
No, thanks, Market, for getting me back on the ground, because I really love this technology. That's why I'm always flying away, and especially with time. Now the point is that I'm running through this technology, and so this is probably my last slide, because this shows everything what we do. So we do a comprehensive protection with airtight WIPS. And that's exactly what we do. And what we want to do is to prevent the existing network, and we want to show or give a visibility on the air or in the air. The other 35 slides, and if you like, I can send you this presentation. You can run through it by yourself. It's just going more deeper into that what I already said. Coming to the point from Marcus. So first of all, we see a big potential for our partners to get into the customers with this technology and to get into the markets. We see it on one side from the technology, but on the other side also from our partner model or our Easy Streets partner program. So the Easy Streets means, as I said, we have a cloud managed security solution, a cloud managed WIPS or access. We have also VMware images where you, if the customer doesn't like cloud on premise, and so we have both scenarios. But what we offer our partners is a very quick and easy MSSP model. This means you can easily purchase from our distribution partner that technology, the access points, and get a cloud access, and you can do a multi-tenant management. So this means we have a so-called tree management, which means on the left side of our cloud, you can enter all your clients, and you can get into this tree and do this configuration for just client A, and the next management should be for client B, and so on and so forth. So you can build up a so-called service provider, managed service provider for Wi-Fi security or for Wi-Fi access easily without spending a lot of money upfront and a lot of investments in your resources. And this is very interesting. We have partners who are actually covering the hospitality market. This means it doesn't make sense to because there are a lot of smaller restaurants or cafeterias or smaller hotels to spend a lot of products or money in each restaurant. So it's easy to have the smallest access point installed in the restaurant, and you do a central management of this guest network or this production network for this client, and you ask just for service fees from the restaurants. So it's very, very interesting model in the Easy Street program to start as a MSP into your markets for restaurants, for lawyers, for banks, and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting product to sell. In the Easy Street portal program, we have two different partner models. So first of all is an authorized partner, and the second is a platinum partner. So we offer everybody a very, very good possibility to earn money with good margins. That's the first thing. And the second thing is with deal registration, which is a big part of the margin. We offer each partner who's sending us the deal reg a project prevention, because you are the partner who gets only the extra 10% margin in this project. So if you want to find or more information, go to our website, Airtight Networks /partner, and in this partner section you will find Easy Street program, and you can get much more information on top of that. But it's a clear model. We have two tiers, which means we have a distribution partner with head technology, and then the second tier is our partner, if it's authorized or a platinum partner. We start in Eastern Europe just with one authorized partner model, and from scratch. We want to get into the markets. We want to support you as best as possible. So I was doing the last hour. So Leo was sitting next to me or in front of me, and so I want to introduce Leo just as one of the resource for you for POCs. Just Leo, if you can tell a bit about how we dealing with POCs, what the partner should do or can do.
Yes, thank you, Tom, for your introduction. I wanted to give you just a quick overview how a POC or a demo could run with us. As Tom mentioned already, if you have the need or if you get a request from a client, it is very likely that you will be successful. And if you can get into projects, let's say with an initial security approach for Wi-Fi, then this is the best starting point, let's say. But if you're in the project or in the talks with your customers regarding security in Wi-Fi, you could later maybe go to the access point of view also, and maybe later it turns out that there will be upselling potential also. So, but let's go to the process of a demo or a POC. If you have the need for a POC, just tell that technology, and they will provide you the gear. And when you get the gear, you automatically get emailed your credentials for the cloud. Or if you say the customer wants to do on-premise POC or demo, then you get a license additionally for our VMware for the management solution. And it is, let's say, very easy to set up. There are on our partner portal and also on the internet to find, let's say, good training videos. But for the start, I could offer you also a quick personal introduction. via a web session or however you would like. We could manage that. So I will be supporting you in every case, especially on your first project you might have. And so, yeah, that's what I'm for. And you can use me as a resource for all technical questions or whatever we are, or Tom and me are also covering each other in each perspective if somebody isn't available. Yeah, that's quite easy. So if you have a demo request and you can come in or can get into an account at first hand with the overlay functionality only, it might turn out later that access is also needed, and if the customer likes the solution, it is very likely that he will ask you for that, or you could remind him maybe also. So, but as I said, very likely that the customer comes up himself. And yeah, if you have questions on that, I'm sure Marcus will be happy to help you and answer your questions. Also, me and Tom are always available, so to say, via email, or you can give us a ring. We will provide you our contact details, and I give back to Tom again.
Yes, thank you. So let me continue the closing of this web session. So first of all, thank you very much for your participation and your patience. I hope that you get a lot of information and let's say valuable information. Our partner Head Technology is of course your central point of contact, and we are working since years together, and we are more than happy to continue and to extend our business into your markets. And yeah, so thank you very much from my side. Markus, do you want to say some words at the end?
Maybe just a question if there are any direct questions currently. Of course, as said, you can at any time contact me, and I can arrange anything for you. No, so thank you very much, Tom and Leo, for. And I think it's really, highly attractive solution. So there should be a lot of potential in the markets. We just need to somehow discover it and uncover it. So that's our task now. Yeah, thank you very much, and looking forward to prosper our business.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.